So today we're going to talk about doing TPN in the home setting. TPN is Total Parenteral Nutrition, which is all of your food IV. Now we're going to talk about putting the tubing into the bag of TPN and getting the TPN to the end of the tubing. Tubing comes in a bag. This is tubing that's specific and dedicated to the pump, and in this case it's the Curlin pump. It has instructions in here. If you have any questions about how to do this, there are instructions in many different languages right in here with the tubing. The tubing comes wrapped up with a paper tab on it that you need to break and take off and throw away. We're going to look at this tubing for a minute and talk about it. It's all wrapped up. It has two ends. One end has a sharp spike that's going to go into the bag of TPN. The other end has what we call a lure lock that'll easily screw onto the end of your IV. And then on the tubing itself, you're going to see a yellow and a blue piece. These are the two pieces that we're going to have to fit into the pump. This is a filter that as we put the tubing into the bag and the TPN starts to run through, we're going to watch how it fills this filter. This filter collects bacteria, air bubbles. This is a 1.2 micron filter, and we use it on all our TPNs. Now we're going to look at this bag again. And we're going to look at these three ports that we talked about. This is the one we use to put the multivitamins or any other medicines that the pharmacy tells you to put in your TPN. This is the one port that the pharmacy only uses to put things in and make your TPN. And this is the port that we need to use to put in the tubing. Once we put this spike of tubing in here, we're going to push it in far enough to break a membrane in here, and the TPN is going to start running through here. So I'm going to take off the cap, throw it away, and I'm going to take off the end of this and throw it away. And you aim for this. You try not to touch anything that you take a cap off of, and you have to push and twist. And you know you've gotten it in far enough when you can see something start to move down. Once it starts to move down the tubing, you want to be ready to have it fill this filter, and you fill the filter in the direction that the tubing goes in. And I kind of have to mash on the bag to get this to run through easily, and you can kind of see it running into the tubing. It's just getting into the filter, and it's going to fill this filter. You're going to see it start to fill the filter. And then it fills the other side. And I'm pushing on the bag as I go to make it come through faster. If I don't push on the bag, it really won't come through on its own. Now I'm going to wait and watch it drip off the end of the tubing now that it's gone through the filter, and I'm leaving that blue cap on. It'll still drip around it, and I'm keeping the end nice and clean and sterile while I wait for that drip. And I'm pushing on the bag. You can see it moving. There's the drop. All right, we're at the end. I'm going to stop pushing on the bag. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to pull off this yellow cap. When I do that, it mashes down on the tubing and clamps it, and it stops dripping. There's another clamp on this tubing also, this white one. This white clamp will slide across on the tubing and pinch it. So now I've actually clamped or pinched this tubing two different ways. One way with this and one way with this. You have to take off the little yellow tab I pulled on this in order to get it into the pump. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to load this in the pump and use your IV pump.